Hey there, Soul Shines, it's Michelle here, and I'm inviting you to wake up and live. And today I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. One is the number 27, and the other is our homes and clutter. So I have another channel. That's a funky little hairpiece. Okay. I have another channel that I sometimes post on. I'm not as consistent, and my message isn't as clear over there. A part of that other channel's purpose is to help me document my own home efforts. But I like to also share little tidbits as I learn along the way. So I have been rereading a book by Marla Silly called Sync Reflections, and it's about her program for decluttering. You may have heard of her. She's known as the Fly Lady, and it can be very helpful for people. I mostly like it. I like to adjust things to myself. I don't do well with just here's a routine. I like to intuitively figure out what I need to do differently and that kind of thing. So I wanted to share with you a quote in her book about the number 27. She chose the number 27 because of her study of Feng Shui. When she was trying to declutter her home and as she was creating her process for her home, she was studying Feng Shui, and 27 is an important number for that. Apparently you do things in groups of 27, which is 3 groups of 9. I don't fully understand it because I don't actually remember ever coming across the 27 in my own study of Feng Shui, but there you have it. So she does 27. So she does these things called 27 fling boogies, where you go through like with a trash bag and you rush through your house finding 27 things to throw away. And then you go through again with a box or a basket or something to collect 27 things that you're going to declutter. Which, if you have a lot of things to declutter, it's not a bad way to do it. I'm doing one of her other suggestions, which is 5 minutes a day in your worst room for 27 days. And so I can't do them every single day always, but I'm noting how many days I've gone in there. So far I've done 5 days in the room, and I can already start to see a little bit of a difference. It's how I'm approaching my mom's room, because it's really hard for me to go in there anyway. It's super overwhelming, and it both with how much there is to do and the emotions that come with it. So I go in for 5 minutes and just do 5 minutes. And so I'm doing that for 27 days. I'm going to have my kids do a 5-minute kind of a room rescue kind of thing for 27 days so that they can get in the habit and see what happens when they just do a few minutes every day in their room, and hopefully have that habit as something that they choose to do. For my morning communion with God, I have made a little chart. It's actually here in my planner. I wonder if I can find it. I can. Okay. So I can show you. This is my planner. This is my communion with God thing, and it has my little rainbowy list of things, and then you'll see there's pink and blue sets of, wait, so I can get in closer, pink and blue sets of boxes. Those are 27 boxes, and so I'm marking them in groups of 27 for the things that I have done. So far I've done it 4 days in a row, and it's been so amazing. At the night when I go to bed, I leave my planner open to that, so it's the first thing I see because I sit it on my nightstand. The first thing I see is that page that's like, oh yes, I'm going to do my communion with God. And so that's been really helpful for me. Another thing that I'm doing is reading other things in my day, and I've got this in my journal or my planner. It comes with these days of where it's got a whole section for one day, and I've decided to kind of make some little notes of some of the key impressions I get in my 15 minutes of reading on these. So on Monday, like, I read Sync Reflections for my 15 minutes, and I wrote, remember, baby steps, don't run. I tend to want to go faster than I can, so I'm just reminding myself to take baby steps. And a reminder that clutter drags down our energy, and I know that it does, and this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about in my message today. On Tuesday, I also read from Sync Reflections, and then yesterday, I didn't have the book with me, and while I was waiting for my doctor appointment, I actually read from As a Man Thinketh and wrote down some notes. I love this quote. Blessedness, not material possessions, is a measure of right thought. Just this idea that it's how we feel and think about our lives, not what we have, that determines how we're doing. And so I really liked that thought. But the number 27, somebody wrote in to Marla and it told her how interesting it was that she was using the number 27. Her husband had noticed it and said that in Hebrew, the number 27 means spotless, pure, clean, clear, transparent, lucid, innocent, perfect, and fine. So how perfect it was that she was using that number to do her cleaning, 27 days to make a pure and clean home, 27 days to work on a perfect habit, that kind of thing. So, the clutter draining us. One of the reasons I really wanted to talk about this is it has been so fascinating to see what happens in my home. I'm a house empath, so I'm super in tune to the energy of my home anyway, but other people can notice it too, even if you're not a house empath. So in my living room, there has been a chair. It was kind of falling apart, but it was my mom's chair. And we decided that nobody in our house cared to keep that chair. It was kind of a reminder of my mom, and it was a little hard for everybody. So we got the chair out of our home, and all of a sudden our room felt so much lighter. Everything we own has energy in it. And sometimes that energy supports us, and sometimes that drags us down. I remember reading in a book that when you release your things, it frees up that energy so that it can come back and support you in a positive way. So when you are letting go of things that you no longer love, they no longer serve you, whatever reason it is, when you let those go, you're freeing up that energy so that it can come back to you in supportive ways. The thing is, our subconscious mind is aware of everything. So even if you have a project that you've hidden in a closet and you think, okay, out of sight, out of mind, it's not true. Your energy is very aware of it. Your subconscious is very aware of it. Every time you walk by that closet, your subconscious is like, hey, that project is in there. Even if it doesn't bring it consciously to your awareness, it's taking a toll on your energy. It is pulling you down. So that's why it's important to set aside time to finish your projects, or decide, is it really worth finishing it and just like scrapping the project altogether and letting it go. And that's what I'm having to do as I'm going through my mom's stuff. She's got a lot of fabric, and I enjoy sewing, but I have to ask myself, am I really going to ever use this to make something? And if I seriously cannot imagine that in the next little while that I would use it, I'm going to let it go. I know that when I'm ready to sew on projects, that I will have what I need come back to me. And that's what I can do. I can release things. I can intentionally release things, saying, okay, we're letting go of this chair and we would really love to have another chair. Could you please bring in a chair to replace it? I can send out an item and ask for that. I haven't necessarily. I don't feel like I need it. I haven't really found anything that I want to replace. The other thing is that sometimes we tend to collect multiples of the same thing, and one way to address that is when you bring in something, evaluate and let go of a similar item, or if you can't, then you let go of something else, but to help kind of cycle the stuff, so we're not just collecting it, we're cycling it. And I don't feel like you have to do that for everything. Just like with our bank account, we get money come in, we send it out. We don't have to send out all of the money that came in. We can collect a little bit. But really just make sure that what you're keeping has really good vibes for you, that when you see it, it brings you up, it makes you feel lighter, versus kind of making you feel heavy or guilt or sadness. Like, make sure the things that you keep around you are uplifting you. That energy is going to be so powerful in your life. It's going to give you the energy to succeed in life. It's going to help you manifest more. It is going to help in every aspect of your life. And that's my message for you guys today. So remember, 27 is an amazing number, and it really makes sure you keep everything you keep around you uplifts you. The little bonus message is baby steps. Don't feel like you have to go through your whole house and get rid of everything right now. If you are in a position mentally, physically, and have the ability and you want to do a marathon declutter, that's fine, but make sure that you're not pushing yourself emotionally or physically. Because emotionally, if you get rid of too much at the same time, you may actually have like a little panic and then not be able to let go of everything else. Where if you let go of a little bit like every day, you're going to actually be able to have long-term success. So those are my little tips for you guys. Remember, everybody, to let your light shine big, bright, light, and beautiful. And I'll see you guys next time.